are doing any kind of research, the very common things generally we found in the contemporary days research, that is called participatory observation. So before going to discuss about the participatory observation and all, let me to first discuss about exactly the what is observation. So you see, anybody, what is observation? What is observation? Hmm?
To
Examine
examine
Hmm?
of like seeing some.
Things we see.
so to keenly observe something.
To keenly observe something is, what is that keenly observe? What is observation I'm telling? Na? So you are telling the keenly observing.
Sir, we observe after experiment.
We observe the experiment. Anyhow, what experiment we are doing? And what is the role of this participant observation in our research? And what is the non-participant observation also?
Participation is, I think, like uh, we observe how the root goes stay there. Participate in the we call as observation. So be the act.
See, if you look at it exactly, observation is nothing but a selective perception. Means, suppose I have told you earlier that I am crossing the roads. There are, suppose, think about in a bus, suppose 10 people are traveling and all the 10 peoples are having the seat towards the close to the window, means they got the window seats. And then the bus is running. There is a, the bus starts around night 10 o'clock. There is a moonlight outside and you are crossing through a forest. Scenery are very beautiful and you reach at your destination around morning 5 o'clock. So you see, the different peoples will have a different kind of perception and observation to that. So there, the person who is having an interest in the different domain of research, he will look the things in a different angle. The person who is not having an interest will also simply sleep. So what I'm telling here means, if you are doing a research on a particular topic, whenever, suppose you say, I will give another example which will be easier for you. Suppose 10 people are sent to the field to do the research to one village. Suppose all your classmates, suppose I picked up 10 students from your classmates and sent to a village nearby this NIT Rourkela. And I told students, one person should look into the education, one person should do sanitation, one person should do the health, another person on education, another person on the dependency of the forest, and another person on water management, and another person can look into the NREJ issues in that villages, and somebody else can look into their culture, festival, ritual, celebration. So like that, I identified 10 topics and gave you. And some person working on conflict issues and all in the villages and role of Panchayat Raj and all also. So what you can do when you enter the field, uh, the moment you enter the field with an area, with your topic, with your objective, what you will do when you observe something. Suppose two people are fighting, the person who is working on conflict, he will have a, suppose all of you cross the street and you found that in the villages, the two people are scolding each other and they are fighting with each other, not manhandling, but rather scolding each other, shouting on each other. So all of you were there and observed and left. Means just saw, not observe. I can you just have a glance, you just see and left. But the person who is working on conflict management will have a selective perception. Observation is selective perception. You perceive, but he is doing a selective perception. The person who is working on this conflict management, he will start there and will start observing what exactly happening. Because he has more interest on that to know that what exactly happening in the villages and why these two people are fighting with each other, why they are scolding with each other. So well, he is having a certain special interest to look into this matter. There, we can claim it is a selective perception. So, like that, suppose the person who is having an interest in the education can go to the school and have a look. The person who is working on the sanitation can have a well roaming inside the villages and all. He will always have a kind of eyes on where the issues of sanitation are there, whether the people are maintaining the well sanitation or not, whether the what exactly the activities the villagers are doing to maintain the sanitation activities in the village. So what I'm telling here, so means the different students will have a different kind of perception to that the situation happening in the villages. So that's why we call the observation is a selective perception. And you see, then what is participant and what is non-participant observation, and how participant observation is very much relevant in contemporary research? Because you see, the participant observation is a very kind of art. It is an art. It is not that everybody can do a participant observation. Because generally, I have told you so many times earlier that most of the students, while writing the thesis or writing the report, they mention that the participant observation. What methods you use? We use interview, participant observation, and all. But my sincere comment is that are you really using the participant observation, or you are simply using the observation? Because the observation is different than participant observation, because you may observe as a non-participant observer. You are not acting as a participant observer also. Because one type of data collection method typically done in the qualitative research, that is called participant observation. What is participant observation here? Means here the researcher is living with the peoples, whether it is village, whether it is a tribal village, rural, non-tribal village, whether it is this urban area, city area, does not matter. Means you are living there as a part of the community members. Means, and in non-participant observation, you are not acting as a community member there. You are simply acting as an outsider. You are coming every day morning, having a look in the villages, or having interaction with the people, and again leaving it. So means you are not staying there. If you are staying for a longer period, and that too completely you establish the rapport with the villagers, as if you are the part of this community, as if you are part of that colony, as if you are part of that village. So there we can claim as a you are acting as a participant observation. So there are certain criteria you have to fulfill. There are certain kind of things you have to showcase that you are a participant observer. So one type of data collection, generally this participant observation is one type of data collection method typically done in the qualitative research. What exactly you are doing here? You are staying with the community, you are observing. It is not that necessary that you are asking the people every time. You are simply watching what is happening, why people are behaving so and so. Suppose in the village you found that people are celebrating a ritual, a function, they are celebrating. But there what you are doing? You are observing the way people are observing the festival, the way people are behaving, the way people are interacting, all these things are you are observing. You are not simply uh, doing that, rather you are observing what is happening. So here you see widely used mostly this methodology in many disciplines, but particularly the anthropology and sociology, communication studies, human geography, social psychology peoples usually use this participant observation. But mostly the anthropology discipline peoples mostly use this participant observation techniques. Aim is to, what is the aim? It is aim is to generally get a close and intimate familiarity with the group, means the desired group or the individual, or with a particular cultural group or a particular community, whatever I have told you. And there means here I am staying with the community and trying through the intensive involvement with the people in their cultural environment. Usually I am staying there for an extended period, for a longer period I am staying there, having a close interaction with the peoples, and with our close interaction I am trying to gather the information as much as possible. So there what I am doing. And if you look at this history and development of this participant observation in the world movements, you'll find that it was used extensively by uh, Frank Hamilton, uh, who studied the Juni Indians in the later part of the 19th century. So here you see, he was doing an ethnographic research uh, as an anthropologist, and in that ethnographic research he adopted this participant observation as the best mechanism of collecting the real information from the field. He was telling that if you stay longer period as a part of community and be involved in different kind of activities in the community, you can have a clear-cut understanding about the entire villagers. Huge in that, if you can really cultivate the personal relationship with local informants, so then you can learn so many things about that particular culture and that particular society. But what he was telling that if you could stay for a longer period, if you can develop a close intimacy with the villagers, if you can develop a close contact with the villagers, it will be easy for you to learn the culture of that society, to gain the of that society, involving both observing and participating in the social life of the group. What he was telling that you are not only observing here, rather you are also participating. The moment you are participating, you are getting the feelings of the locals. You are understanding the feelings. Because see, as an outsider, simply you go and see the people are dancing. See, I'll tell you the example. When I was doing my MA project, I was doing my MA project in Arco Valley, in the Andhra Pradesh, in the Visakhapatnam region. I spent I spent around 1 month in the field, uh, and I have seen very closely the tribal peoples and their culture, because I was doing mostly on this Nukodaras and Kond tribes, and most of them usually the borders of Andhra Pradesh and Odisha, and they claim themselves that Adivasi Odiyas. They usually claim themselves. There's mostly the tribals living in the region of this Andhra Pradesh and Odisha borders. So every evening, the moment they back from the villages, I was staying very close to them in the school, and I was mostly sparing my time with them from the morning to evening. And every evening, they used to dance, and I always go and dance with them. So here, what I'm telling, so they used to dance the Damsa dance, and every evening I used to go there and dress like them and dance with them around 1 2 hours. So what exactly I found that helps me in establishing my rapport, establishing my close intimacy with them, and what exactly I observed that is a participant observation, because I could have stand outside not dancing with them. I could have stand myself outside and have a look on them that what exactly they're doing, performing all these things. But while I'm dancing with them, I can real understand the kind of what kind of intimacy they used to develop within their community members, and how they are being involved, what kind of relationship they develop within the community members, and how this dance in the form of amusement it resolves their village conflict, and if any discrepancy among misunderstanding among the various members in the villages also, because any kind of festivals, any kind of dance, any kind of other cultural activities usually bring the entire villagers into one platform. Even not only the villagers, even the colony members and all, means wherever any kind of function or any kind of even in our day-to-day life, we have told, we have seen that suppose you might have some problem with some of your relatives at your home, but whenever there is a function at home, in spite of certain kind of differences, in spite of certain kind of conflict within you, you used to invite your all friends, relatives, even your neighbors with whom you have no good relation, and then it helps you in resolving your conflict and all. So what I'm telling, so in the participant observation, that is the much more advantage things we found, that we develop a close intimacy, we observe things very closely, and that helps us in a better understanding about the society. And here involving both observing and participating in the social life of the groups. Here simply we are not only participating, rather we are also observing and participating in all the social life of the group of individuals. By living with the cultures, the researcher were able to formulate the past and outcomes of their life and gain novel insights. Means you are involving and getting a novel insight from the people. So what exactly the people are doing, what it is exactly a successful mechanism. If you look into participant observation, uh, it helps you understanding about a subculture, and it give you lots of information. Development of participant observation as a research tool has brought a great contribution to the discipline, and at the same time also it helps in very critically review the situation in the field, because while you are doing participant observation, you are also not only observing the peoples, also you are very critically looking the peoples from a very close contact, and so you are very closely looking the people, what exactly they are doing, how they are behaving, what is their mechanism, all these things you are very clearly observing. Here you are having a direct observation of the peoples, you are having a very informal interview with the villagers, and you are having a collective discussion with the villagers, and you are analyzing the documents also, because you see, as you have observed while you are writing the reports, you are analyzing the report from your own perception, own observation, own feelings, own experience, so that what is happening, it is really bringing a justice to the report. Means it may, you may stay in the field for longer periods, it may extended also more and more months, it depends upon how interestingly you are looking into the peoples, how interestingly you are involved yourself in the field. Generally, see, you can explore more, and by you can use other informal interview and all, group discussion, informal interview, all these other methods you can use and collect the information. So extended research time means you can stay for more periods if you feel, and observe the details like the daily periods, what exactly more hidden things can be explored through this. Means you can look the things from a very close perspective, starting from the morning to the night, means till sorry, since they get up to till they go to the bed, and you can look into the kind of their formal systems and their informal systems, both things, and how conflicts are arises, and what is the cause of those conflicts, and how the villagers also resolve the conflict within there. Means you can look the things from a very holistic perspective, and it will help you in establishing the rapport, because you see, generally I told you that if you look into the different stages, first stages is establishing rapport and getting to know about the people. So you have to have a vast information about who is who, what exactly the details about the village, then immersing oneself in the field, then first you have a rapport, then you closely associated with yourself with the villages, then you record the different information and data and observe the things and consolidating the information you have gathered in the later stage of time. So this is about the very small kind of things about the participant observation, and I'll stop here. In the next class we'll discuss about the in details about uh, the participant observation, and other things will complete in the next class.